Welcome back. Today, we are going to cover three things. Number one, getting hired as a career climber. So someone that's been working in the world of user experience or product for a while. I want to share some stats with you concerning what I am seeing in the industry and what we're seeing with clients in Career Strategy Lab, our career coaching program, and what I'm seeing in the industry as a whole. Number two, I want to talk about the mindset that career climbers need. And don't worry, it's not just all about making sacrifices and taking any job. And number three, I want to talk a little bit about the sneaky way that imposter syndrome shows up for climbers and how to overcome it. So let's dive in. First off, getting hired as a career climber. Full stop, getting hired is still possible. If you have 10, 15, 20 plus years of experience, it is not time to throw in the towel. People are still hiring for candidates just like you. So let's dive into some stats. I went through the stats of people from Career Strategy Lab, my career coaching program. And in the last 12 months, 70% of the people who ended up getting hired were in fact climbers, which tells me climbers are still getting hired now. Where are they getting hired? So I looked at the companies they are getting hired at, and it really broke down to kind of four buckets. First of all, there's the industry of finance. We've had people get hired at companies including Vanguard, JP Morgan Chase, Fisher Investments, and others. Number two is the health industry. Health companies such as United Healthcare or Health Equity. Number three is kind of tech or software companies. So we've seen people get hired at Google, Samsung, Encircle, Cisco, to name a few. And then finally, I have just another category of other. And I'll give you some examples from that one. So we saw some people in the education industry, such as getting hired at Southern New Hampshire University, Simply Safe, a security company, America's Test Kitchen, kind of a media and cooking food company, I guess, Contact Monkey, SaaS software, they're in Canada, BSI is a consulting group in the UK, and even AmeriCorps. Now, what countries have these career climbers been hired in? So we've seen people get hired in USA, Canada, UK, and Spain. And I just want to say too, there have probably been other climbers get hired as well that just didn't tell us they got hired. So this is just based on the data that we have been given from people who filled out the little form we have when they get hired after Career Strategy Lab or sometimes during their time in Career Strategy Lab. All right, now, job titles. So what are they getting hired for? We're seeing people got hired into positions of senior product designer, director of product, service design and customer experience journey manager, design researcher, UX writer, product manager, to name a few. So my takeaways here are really that companies are still hiring, especially outside of tech. You may need to drop your ego and not be married to job titles. Your ability to communicate what you have done as a climber is more important than what you have done. And I really want to underline that because I think sometimes it's very easy to sell yourself short or think you don't need to spend as much time as a climber on your resume or on your portfolio or something because you think, oh, well, the years of experience or the names of the companies I've worked at should kind of like give me some clout. And that is not enough today. You have to communicate what you have done. You can't just rely on your qualifications. All right. And as a climber, you really have the challenge of so much experience, right? So creating your resume and portfolio, et cetera, is challenging because you have the unique position where you can't likely include everything. And so you have to decide, do I include this or that? By every single project you've worked on, skill you have, et cetera. And it's really about culling through all your experience and deciding, based on the job I want next, what are the very most important things I should talk about? And that gets confusing and hard which is why we see a lot of climbers join us in Career Strategy Lab. All right. Number 2 thing we want to talk about is mindset. So many career climbers really worry that they are going to seem overqualified, or that they'll need to maybe take a role that has a lower salary or fewer or maybe even different responsibilities than that they were originally looking for. And here's the thing. There is a difference between settling or sacrificing and compromise. And with compromise, you still have the power. There's not like a sense of desperation. So we just had a client who was a career climber who actually said no to a job opportunity because after working with us on something we call a compass statement, kind of like a vision statement for your career, this person got very clear on what she wanted in her career and her next role. And while the money was great for this job offer, she knew that the role was not aligned with what she was looking for based on her compass statement. And even more importantly, she knew she had options. She didn't just have to take this job offer because she was confident in her experience and knew how to powerfully articulate it. And she knew that if she could get that job offer, she probably could get more job offers. We had another person actually from Australia who joined Career Strategy Lab and then resigned from her job a few weeks after creating this very career compass statement. And it was very powerful what she posted in the community. And I thought I would just read it to you. She said, "Today I'm resigning from my senior service designer role at a large software company. I'm only 3 months into the role, but it's become very evident that the expectations of the role are extremely limited and not offering me opportunities to learn, grow, and challenge myself. I haven't taken this decision lightly, as I'm not someone who hops from one job to the next. Before pivoting into the UX a few years ago, I was with one company for 11 years. That said, I'm trying to be more authentic in my career decisions and listening to my gut when it's time to go. I'm sharing this for anyone else out there who's stuck in a dead-end job and is trying to find the courage to make a change. Be brave, listen to your gut. You will be happy you did." And I just thought that was so powerful and such in alignment with this mindset that we know is so important for people at all career stages, but especially our career climbers out there. So I want you to be open to opportunities and know your boundaries and what makes sense for you. And slight caveat here, sometimes, yes, we do just need to take a job. I totally, fully understand that. We all have bills to pay. We all have lives, etc. And so I just want to say that because it'd be bad not to recognize that. All right. Now, third thing, overcoming sneaky imposter syndrome. So for some career climbers, instead of just straight fear and doubt in their skills, in their experience, etc., imposter syndrome can actually show up as overconfidence. And here's what I mean. So if you have resistance to doing the work on your career materials, meaning your resume, your portfolio, your LinkedIn, etc., if you have resistance to all of that because you think, oh, well, I shouldn't have to make a portfolio or I shouldn't have to do this or that, you might actually have some fear in there that's kind of hidden behind those I shouldn't have to's. And it's really time to kind of get humble and be willing to do the work. And it can be really tricky to learn all of the things that you have to do, especially as a career climber, because it may have been a while since you did a job search, and the way that you maybe find jobs or extra things you can do during the interview process, etc. Maybe you didn't have to do those things 5, 10, 15 years ago. And so you can be very overwhelmed with figuring out, number one, what are those things? And number two, actually doing them. But doing the work on your career materials, meaning resume, portfolio, LinkedIn, etc., will not only help you find and land your next role, but it will also likely build your confidence in a whole new way because you're going to realize just how awesome of a candidate you are, and you are going to feel more in control of your not just current job search, but future one too. And for example, we often have people who are kind of resentful or terrified about using LinkedIn in their job search. We know that when you use LinkedIn, it is game changer, but you have to use it correctly. But then when they finally get over this fear or resentment about having to use LinkedIn and they actually start posting or commenting and making themselves more visible, they are totally amazed that people comment on their posts, send them messages, and in some cases have recruiters or hiring managers reach out to them about roles they're hiring for. But that's what can happen when you choose to step back from potentially that overconfidence or thinking, well, I shouldn't have to use LinkedIn in my job search, and instead just realize that's how the world works now. You can really use that to your advantage. So to recap our tips for career climbers, number one, people like you are still getting hired in many different industries for many different roles in user experience. Number two, your mindset is crucial in your job search. It's about knowing what you want and don't want and be willing to set and adhere to boundaries so you can truly find that role you are looking for. And number three, imposter syndrome, as we know it, is real, of course. And if you have resentment or resistance about the job search and you think, but I shouldn't have to do this, that, the other, that might be a sign that you actually have fear or frustration. And maybe you should stop DIYing that and instead seek some external help. And as a side note, I want to say Career Strategy Lab is for people who are career climbers, but of course, other stages as well. We have people who are switching careers into user experience or people seeking their first job in user experience. So if you are a career climber or at another stage in your career and you are interested, email us. You can find that on our website on the contact page. Send me a message on LinkedIn or just go to careerstrategylab.com to learn more. But I always love to chat. I'm always in my LinkedIn DMs, so don't be shy. If you have any questions, please let us know. That is all for today. I hope you learned something. I hope maybe you had some confusing things become a little clearer if you are a career climber. So I will talk to you later. Have a great rest of your day.